Hello, this is Manash Patel with IMTF Trade. Today's workshop, we're going to discuss counter trend. Now, a lot of people talk about counter trend opportunities. There's many different versions out there. Also, a lot of people don't evaluate counter trend with money management. That's not what we're going to do today. Today, we're going to talk about counter trend, and we're going to find counter trend opportunities that give you a 3-to-1 reward risk ratio or higher. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that with a live trade that we took with a US stock called Costco. Once we show you this trade and illustrate exactly how to find them, we're going to show you how to set up the scanner to find these opportunities for you. So then all you have to do is look at the charts, validate everything, and then you can sit there and put the trade on. Okay, so let's begin. Before we begin, this is our normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. You guys could go through and read the rest of the disclaimer. So let's go through and start looking at the charts. So we have a chart here of Costco. This is a US stock on the weekly time frame. You can apply this method on any time frame in any instrument in the world, from currencies to global stocks to futures and so forth. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to show you a real live example here of a trade that we took with Costco. We took it off the weekly time frame. Reason why is you could trade options and you could sit there and go like a 2 or 3 months out at least, since you're dealing with weekly options, and you could sit there and deal with volatility that could be at average or cheap. Okay, but you could pretty much apply this for any instrument, any time frame. So the counter trend we're going to discuss is more towards a trend continuation. Okay, so what are the characteristics we're looking for? The very first characteristic we're looking for is a nice little trend here. You can see this is a nice little trend here. You want to make sure this trend consists of a couple of bars. If it sits there and comes up to here and then starts to reverse, that's not really a big trend at all. The bigger the trend, the more reward you're going to get on the counter trend opportunity. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a nice little trend here, which you pretty much have. So you could see here we had the green shaded area. You got into the trade here. It went all the way up here. You barely could see it, but we had a black dot here, gray dot, which is basically means extreme over condition. So we got out there. If we didn't get out there and we trailed with the green dots, we pretty much exited the trade there. Now what's happening is this is a profit taking mode. So everything's going up. Now what happens is everyone that was basically buying, they're basically taking profits. Okay, and the question then is when is the profit taking going to stop, and then it's going to reverse, and maybe this trend can continue. So the counter trend we're looking for is where a trend has been established, people are profit taking, and we're going to predict with high probability where that profit taking is going to stop and reverse. Okay, now what we're going to do is we have the IMTF indicator, and then we'll also have the Ichimoku indicator here. Okay, so we're looking for here is that basically a major pullback is once you get out of a trend, it comes to the cloud and touches any part of the cloud. So you could see here it touched some part of the cloud, which is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, but in order to sit there and find exactly where this is going to stop and reverse, you have to go to the higher time frame. This is weekly time frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the monthly time frame. Okay, and I'm going to find the green line, which is the Kijun-sen, which is part of the Ichimoku indicator. Okay, and you could see it was right there. So I'm going to mark it off with a horizontal black line, which is right there. Okay, and that basically tells me the higher time frame is going to sit there and come here. That's the higher time frame support right there. Okay, and you can see this has been a nice long trend here. So basically the monthly time frame is a trending time frame. Okay, now coming back to the weekly time frame, you could see basically it got here, it got through a little drawdown, which is no problem. But what I'm looking for is that basically on the higher time frame, it touches the green line, and on your trading time frame, it's touching some part of the cloud here. When you have that scenario, that's a high probability of basically predicting where the profit taking is going to stop. So you could sit there, come into here, and at that point you could look back here and you could sit there and find these crosses here. You could see there's crosses right there, and there's a whole bunch of crosses right there. So what you can do is you could sit there and look at a reward risk here. Okay, I'm going to draw it out here. Oops, I did the wrong way. So I'm going to sit there and do a long. My entry is going to be roughly about right there. And what I always want to do is I want to target, or you could take profits, some profits at the green line, which is the Cajuns in there on your trading time frame. Okay, so we have that there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move our stop to roughly about there, which is a little below all these crosses here. And you could see that this was a major support / resistance level there. Okay, so that's basically reward risk there. So you could see that our reward risk is over 3 to 1 here, and you could see basically that we're risking $6.55. That will be our loss, and our max profit here, our target, which is $23.82 there. So that's what we're looking for it at least to get to the green line there. Now, if it breaks the green line, it does have a high probability to get to the pivot high. However, don't get greedy. So if you really wanted to sit there and take it to the pivot high or pivot low, then what I would suggest to do is take 50 or 75% of your positions off there, and then let the rest ride with maybe a stop at break even if you want. Or basically, as soon as it sits there and gets above that green line, what's going to happen is these green dots will adjust, and at that point you can use the green dots as a trailing stop to sit there and trade it to the pivot high. But you could see here on this trade, we automatically got to our 3 to 1, and now it's sitting there trying to go higher. And you could see all these multiple time frame resistances we're going to run into here, but that's okay. So let's show you how to set this trade up and how we found this on the scanner. So I'm going to go to IMTF trade, and you have to log into level 3. Level 3 is basically where the Ichimoku parameters on the scanner come up along with the IMTF. So I went ahead and logged in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find opportunities like the one we just did. So I'm going to go to the monthly time frame, and what you want to do is look for strategy number 5. And since we wanted the monthly time frame to be bullish, I'm going to do that. So 5 basically is telling me the monthly time frame is bullish and it's trending. Okay. Then I'm going to come to the weekly time frame here. Oops, forgot one thing. Also, I want price to touch the green line, which is the Cajun sin. So I'm going to set that up right there. Okay. Then I'm going to come back to the weekly time frame, and what I want to do is I want to search for either strategy 1 bearish or strategy 2 bearish, and it depends on volatility which one it can be. Okay, but this basically means that that trend was stopped out. So here is an opportunity here, which is KO. We'll look at that in just a moment. There's strategy 1, and there's strategy 2, which are some foreign stocks there. Okay, so let's look at strategy 1 here, which is KO, and let's go for that scenario here. So I'm going to go to KO, and it's going to find an opportunity here, and you could see here my reward risk tool is there already. Reason why is we already sat there and entered this trade here. Okay, and we're just waiting for the chart to pull up. Okay, so this is not a nice big trend here, and so you kind of want a nice big trend. So this is not a great opportunity. It's not good for a conservative trader. It's more towards a aggressive trader. Okay, now first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the high time frame and find that green line. Okay, and it should be touching it because that's exactly what we wanted on the scanner. So you could see that green line is right there, right there. So when we got stopped out, it was right there. So the green line is roughly about right there right now. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to come down back to the weekly time frame, and you're going to look at it here, and you could see that the green line was a little off from the cloud here. Remember, you wanted to touch the cloud here. So what we did was we wanted to touch the cloud. That was a major support right there. So I just readjusted right there, and then what I did was I looked back. There was a cross right here. Okay, a cross right there. So I need to get my stop just a little below that level right there. Right there. And then what I want to do is I want to target the green line right there. However, I have a multiple time frame cross right there, so that makes that a little suspicious there. So we could target that right there. If we do, it's not a 3 to 1 reward risk ratio. If we target this here, that is a 3 to 1 reward risk ratio. So this is a trade that we're looking for. However, this is not the ideal trade. Why? This did not sit there and trend nicely as we wanted it for the Costco trade. So if you want the criteria where this thing's at least trending at least about 20 bars or 26 bars or so forth before you take the trade. So this is not a great trade to take, but that shows you how to set up the scanner for any time frame and how to find opportunities just like Costco, and basically learn how to trade the counter trend method that way. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you guys go feel free to email us at info@eiicapital.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.